The angler in me wanted to get out fishing, breathe some fresh air. It's good for you. Cooped up all day watching nothing, a lack of inspiration. Boredom breeds boredom. The middle-aged man in me, the one with the hectic job, wanted to be lazy, but after a couple of weeks of doing nothing, the time came to force myself. There are no excuses really. There's barely any footy on right now. The garden's a mess, the shed needs a good tidy, so there's plenty to be doing. So I gave myself an ultimatum: shed, garden, or go fishing. I opted for somewhere local. That way I couldn't change my mind at the last minute because I couldn't be bothered to drive, or there might be traffic, or the carp might be spawning. I did think about bass, but the tides were all wrong, although the lure of the creek had been quite strong recently. I dragged myself, the car and my kit over to Portsdown Hill and made my way to the lake, across the golf course, pulled up at the boathouse, one of my favourite spots. So this is the bit where I tell you all about setting up, the fishing and the catching, but you've got eyes. You can clearly see what's happening, and you can probably guess what's about to happen before it actually does. You see, I want so much more from my videos. There's enough of the vlog style videos out there telling you all about how to catch fish, what hooks to use, what pop-ups, etc. I did all that before and then some. But some of you might have noticed that the channel's starting to evolve somewhat. A new way of creating content Something that isn't out there already, maybe a gap. Right now, I'm in between cameras, hence this footage isn't so great. Shot on the action camera. It's okay, but it lacks sharpness, quality, depth, colours. The Panasonic I had for 4 years, and I felt as though I was starting to get to grips with the footage, learning how to manipulate it, mould it, find my own style. And a handful of films I was quite happy with, unique stories told through words, music and images. The issue with the Lumix was that the autofocus was totally unreliable, very rarely holding and quite often drifting off and doing its own thing, rather like a shopping trolley. Although it was a big investment, it was time to move on, and after weeks of research, I've now settled upon a new setup, something I've wanted for so long. It ticks all the boxes, and wait till you see the lens. That's a few weeks away though, so in the meantime I'll continue with this setup, rather than just stop the uploads. I'm so excited I can't tell you. A new injection into the filming kit always brings about a new lease of life, new inspiration, new ideas, which can only be good news for you guys. More stories, more fishing, more of the good stuff. Wildlife has always been a massive part of what turns me on, and this new setup will be focused on that. You might even find me camping out in a hide for hours on end waiting to capture that bucket shot, but it'll be worth it, worth the effort, I'll just know it. I've certainly got plans, forthcoming trips that excite me. A couple of trips to my favourite day ticket water, NMG, in search of those gnarly old dinosaurs, and I'll be taking the kids along on those trips too. Quality time together while they're off school. Fishing, camping and a barbecue or two. Then there's a wonderful trip with James to the mountains of Wales, in search of adventure, memories and ancient wild carp. And not to forget some sea fishing. Early mornings on the mud, amongst the wading birds, watching the channel fill, as with it always comes magical inspiration, as well as a few bass. I'm spoilt really, and as much as it's a chore sometimes to motivate myself to actually get out there, it's heaven once I do get there, wherever it is. And I think that's the point I always try my best to get across through my films, that it really doesn't matter where you go, just so long as you do. If you have the passion, the fire burning within, then you will find utopia, your own piece of heaven on earth, that place that makes you smile and want to keep coming back time after time. So there you go, you came to see some fishing and you got some, and as you can see it was rather fruitful. The carp were hell bent on getting caught. A couple of old boys opposite me fishing to the pads were having a load too. I guess it was just one of those afternoons. A strong wind at first which made things quite tricky for surface fishing, but as the afternoon merged into evening the wind dropped. The fish came on the feed with gusto, and a little before 9 PM I headed home via McDonald's for a celebratory £5 meal deal of course.